For a long time, HTC was on top of their flagships, making devices that lasted and performed really well. Does the A9 live up to that tradition it has for being a great device with a couple audio tricks up its sleeve? My name's Andrew with iTechTriad, and this is going to be the full review of the HTC One A9. The first thing I want to look at about this phone is the hardware. If we ignore the fact that the phone looks a lot like an iPhone, and it does, we can come to a common conclusion. The build quality is impressive. The A9 is sturdy in the hands and feels premium. It's light and thin and feels pretty amazing to hold in the hand. Because of the full metal body, it does feel a little slippery after a while, but that's nothing a good case can't fix. The back is a nice gunmetal color and looks really good. The corners are rounded really nicely and have a decent curvature, which makes the A9 look extremely sleek. At least in my opinion, it's one of the best looking phones of 2015. On the left side is a SIM card slot and also an SD card slot, which looks just like the SIM card slot. I like this better than the usual flap you see covering an SD card slot on other phones and devices. On the right side lies a power button, and above it, the volume rockers. Now, this is a weird situation for me. I'm extremely used to having some volume rockers under a power button, and I found myself hitting the volume up button a lot to either turn on the device or to turn off the screen. I'm sure you would get used to it though after some time. On the bottom lies the USB port, which is uncomfortably off to the right about 5 more millimeters than it should be. My OCD really kicks in on this one. It still bothers me whenever I charge the A9 and automatically plug in the cord to the middle, realizing that's not where the port is. Next to that lies the bottom-facing speakers. Yes, bottom-facing. Unlike the previous models which boasted the front-facing speakers, this one's settled with bottom-facing speakers for whatever reason I don't know. This is an unfortunate thing though, because everyone loved the M9's front-facing speakers and even the M8's front-facing speakers, but with the A9 comes bottom-facing speakers. They don't sound bad though, in fact they sound pretty good, I just really would have liked to see them on the front. On the A9 there is a single camera accompanied by a dual-tone flash. The 13 megapixel rear-facing camera is a pretty awesome little camera. It doesn't have the greatest low-light performance, but in good lighting it does really well. It does have a pro shooting mode, which is basically just manual mode, and has a raw shooting option, which is popping up at a lot of devices lately. The pro mode includes white balance adjustment, an exposure setting, ISO adjustment, shutter speed adjustment, and manual focusing. Obviously there are a lot of advantages to shooting in manual because you have full control over everything going on, so this is a very nice touch that was added to the A9. Another major hardware feature is the newly added Fingerprint Sensor. It's really fast and reliable and also acts as a home button if you're so inclined to use it that way, which I am. As soon as my thumb makes contact with the home button, the phone is unlocked. I like the way they incorporated it as a home button as well. The small indent is nice and the texture change is a cool little touch. The 5-inch display is an AMOLED display and is really pretty. I'm a sucker for a good AMOLED display and this one really fits the bill. It doesn't get quite as bright as I want it to, but it does the job well enough. The 1080p screen is a very nice one. For me though, my daily driver is a Nexus and the display on the A9 is 5-incher, meaning it feels puny compared to my Nexus 6. That being said, it wasn't a huge deal getting used to the smaller device and readjusting to it. Colors are extremely pretty and they pop really well. This has to be one of my favorite displays of the year next to the S6 Edge Plus. One issue I do have with this phone is the HTC Boomsound. The whole purpose of Boomsound is to make audio sound nice and full of low ends and enrich the audio, but Boomsound just doesn't sound right. I don't know, there's something about it that makes it feel extremely synthetic. That's my personal opinion though, and by no means am I an audiophile, so it's up to you to decide what you want. Moving on to the software, the A9 rocks Android 6.0 currently and runs extremely smoothly with it. I had no hiccups with the device and everything ran together and worked in unison very nicely. I really loved using the A9 for its performance. Battery life is pretty great on the A9 too, and I'm not entirely sure if it's DOS working on Android 6.0 or the A9 itself, but when in standby mode, the A9 loses little to no battery. It's pretty satisfying sitting down the device at 50% before bed and waking up to 48% battery left. Using it though, battery is pretty good when not in standby. It lasts for a good day I would say, and I would probably recommend charging it every night. Overall, this is a great little device and makes a great phone. It's definitely a solid option for really anyone. I enjoyed every minute of using it and would definitely recommend the device to anyone looking for a fast 5-inch phone that performs well and looks sleek while doing it. Anyways, thanks for watching and we hope you have some new ideas about the phone and how it fits into your life. So let us know what you think in the comments and we'll catch you next time.